Folks, it gives me great honor to introduce Lea Tsemel. Wow, you deserve it. I don't know what the Minister of Cultural Affairs doesn't like about this film.
She never saw it.
Oh,
She's very critical about many things she never saw or read. But
now we know what to see. I have to start just with the very end, just to talk about Tarek for a moment. And I know that card was obviously added after the film was completed.
yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about what happened?
Yeah. It took a few months after it was completed and shown, and we were in Sundance. And then when he came back, he was detained with another quite famous Palestinian fighter, Zacharias Bedi from Jenin, who was a protagonist in another film. And then we found out that he had the crucial moment of his late life was really the day of the verdicts that you could see on the film, the boy and the woman. And I don't know if you saw his reaction when he goes down the stairs, up the stairs again. He couldn't tolerate it, and a week later he found some weapon and he just went and shot at the roadblock on police cars. Nothing serious happened. And then later on he tried to convince his friend, the one I mentioned, to participate with him at shooting at buses that come out of settlements. In his interrogations, were by the security services and by the police, you can read clearly that he thought that he couldn't tolerate anymore his duty as a lawyer, and he felt that something else should be done. And at first, out of rage and anger at the system, at the same time, he was also representing many, many youngsters from the West Bank who were shot or wounded by soldiers when they just came near the roadblocks with knives or scissors, things like that. So the disappointment was terrible, and he thought he should do something else. Law is not the solution, as we can see very often. And then, while being interrogated, he handled some kind of bargain with these interrogators. He will give them information, and then they decided upon the punishment. And I represented him, other lawyers also with me. We were a group of lawyers, but we didn't have too much work to do. We came to a finished business. So now he's in prison. I visit him, not often enough. And now there is another trial going on in the Lawyers Guild in order to remove him from his position, which will probably happen. That's it.
Through all of this, have you not lost any hope in the judicial system? Do you ever think the system is broken? We need a different one? Maybe not his, but another direction?
I don't know if the word hope in the judicial system is the correct one. I would say I didn't stop believing that we can break them. That's more or less, I can put it like this. It's not that I come in and I trust that them. I trust ourselves and the cause to be convincing enough at the end.
Let me ask you about the reactions to the film. The film has been played now all around the world. And in Israel, of course, there have been extremely strong reactions. Does this surprise you at all?
First of all, I should say that the reactions all over the world are very positive. I never attended a screening, and I was in a few, even in Poland, in Greece, in others, and there were always very, very positive reactions on behalf of the audience. Also in Sundance, the Jewish audience especially were very accepting. And somehow the only place where it was questioned was in Israel, of course. We can understand it, but it was really initiated by extremists from the right wing that tried to make some political advantages from their criticism. And it only made it more important because it created enormous wave of support from the artistic world. I don't know if you probably, most of you know the stories with Mifal HaPais, with the lottery, Israeli lottery, that is supporting movies that go for the Oscar. And this movie, since we won the Doc Aviv Prize, goes automatically as a nominee to the first nomination, at least for the Oscar. And so there was a big campaign against the Israeli lottery, and many people, so they say, I didn't check, abolished their nomination, and it made a big scandals where the artists are on one side and the authors and people who did gain different prizes in Israel supported the movie and the freedom of speech, and the others came down with demonstrations of blood and horrors. Finally, here we are, and I think it received a lot of support from all the progressive Israelis.
What amazes me is that those who protest this film don't realize that this is a film that celebrates Israel as having a judicial system as much as people. This is a system where people get to be defended and get to have a lawyer who actually stands up for them, whether they're guilty or not. And that's something that we need to.
Reaction that we received, is it so negative? No, it's positive. It supports Israel, etc. All kind of reactions. Yeah.
Let me ask you.
Moment. Yeah.
Let me ask you one more question before we take some questions from the audience.
Yeah.
This film covers a lot, and on many different levels, both from your life and, of course, just from everything that's going on in Israel in many ways. It tells an interesting history of Israel. Is there something that's missing here that you felt, they didn't show that side of things? That was maybe they covered it all.
I don't know. I didn't dictate anything in this movie. So
why was it important for you? Was it important for you you let them make this movie? You played an active role in it, and why do you think this movie is a good idea?
It became a good idea. I didn't know at the beginning it will be, and I said, "You want to vote? You're welcome. Please go ahead." There was a former shorter film about me also. That's it. I just allow them to do what they want. So if it's successful, it's not because of me. That's what I
think you have something to do with it.
Yeah.
Let's take a couple of questions from the audience. We have 1, 2, and 3.
Thank you. My name is Muhammad Bakri. I am a partner of this festival with Carol Zeber. Thank you. And Iti. I told Lea, I know Lea for many years, since I was 30 years old. We made a film about the right of return of the Palestinian to their country by Costa Gavras. And it was a love story between Palestinian young, nice man, myself, and a Jewish lawyer, very beautiful woman. I think the inspiration of the film was from Lea character. Thank you, Lea.
Some kind of inspiration, perhaps. I gave my gown to the film.
Great.
They didn't have the right gown, so I
That's
gave
right.
them the gown.
And the film was attacked by Israel, was not distributed in Israel. You cannot find it, not in Amazon and not in YouTube. And I think it's telling enough about the film that Lea, about the life of Lea. Unfortunately, I told Lea outside before we came in that Lea and Dov Hanin, who is here with us also, he's a lawyer too. I think they are my hope as a Palestinian, both of them. But they both, myself and Carol, and this festival, make Israel nicer than it is in reality. Sorry to say that. It's not a nice country. There is not justice in Israel, and we must admit of that. Thank you very much.
Do you think Israel's a nice country?
I love being there. I love being there. I have no intention to leave as long as possible. Is it nice? Sometimes it's very ugly.
Well, I think it's your humor that makes the film bearable. And I wanted to ask you, aside from the earlier film that's not distributed in Israel, Miri Regev stopping or trying to stop the film from being shown in Israel, are there other examples where the government has tried to silence you?
Not really. In a certain sense, perhaps, what Mr. Bakri said is perhaps correct, because in another film that covered part of my clientele, never mind, the Ranan Alexandrovich is interviewing military judge, and the judge is telling him, if she wasn't there, we should have invented her in a way. It could give some kind of coverage. Yeah, we allow them to have a lawyer of their choice in a way. And she can say whatever she wants, and she can expose the torture, etc., which is also true in a way. Until recently, it was quite true. Recently, as you see, they try to shut us up more and more, and to threaten more and more. And right now, there is a demand to throw me out of the... I also work for the public defense. Out of the public defense, and perhaps very soon from the Lawyers Guild. We'll see.
Luckily, you'll have a movie career then, so
yeah.
I think you'll be fine.
Okay. Any suggestions?
We have another question right there in the middle.
I have a very short question for you. Did you like the film? And if yes, why?
If I liked and
Did you like the film? And if yes, why?
It's quite embarrassing. It's very embarrassing to see yourself in a film, first of all. And secondly, I didn't put my lipstick on, which is very terrible. I'm satisfied with the fact that so many people love it. I would say sometimes, not in Israel, but in other countries, in perhaps more religious countries, there is this wave of some kind of worship even that I feel from the audience, or people come and say so, or kiss my hands, you know. So this is, I don't know how to react to it. It's quite embarrassing, and no, it's all right. Yeah, it's good, fine, no complaints.
We're going to take one last question right down here. Carol Zabar gets her question. You've earned it.
So there is a question at the end of this, but I think in 1992, after the first Intifada started, I had gone with my friend Jessica, who's sitting here, to Israel, and she was going to Paris, and I went to Egypt. And the young man who showed me around the Cairo Museum reluctantly, very reluctantly, went to lunch with me. And I said to him, "What do you think of the Intifada?" And he said, "I'm bursting with pride." And I looked at him like, he said, "What are you talking about? Children throwing stones? Do people getting hurt?" He said, "They've been living under the occupation since 1967. And up till now, they were good little boys and girls, went to work in Israel, and were making peace with this situation. But now, they reclaimed their dignity." I said, "They reclaimed their dignity?" He said, "What else were they going to do?" And I was shocked. I was really shocked, particularly as an American. How could he be defending this? But afterwards, I said to myself, my God, I'm not defending throwing stones, but I 100% understand it. The one choice was to either play along, work in Israel, and go along with this occupation forever, or stand up and be counted. So, when you defend people, what is your attitude toward violent defense in general?
The basic concept is, I believe that every person under any oppression should revolt. I think it's human. I think it's not only the right, it's in a way also a duty if you want to be a complete human being. And then, as I said, now I distract myself from this general declaration that is always true, and I look at me again as an Israeli. And as an Israeli, I don't have any moral basic to stand there and criticize. That's what I feel. No. I could do it in a friendly way between me and the friend, Palestinian friend. I am not allowed to criticize any of those. This is my genuine feeling, and that's how I react. That's how I continue my work. And I say it in the open. I say it to the judges, I say it to the prosecutors. It should be very, very clear. That's it.
Lea, I don't say this about a lot of lawyers, but I consider you a hero, and you do amazing work. You're extremely brave, and I know it only gets harder, and the fact that you keep going at it is also something that we should all learn to do.
I'm not such a hero. First of all, I'm a woman. So it's easier. It's easier, you know. I'm fighting with this masculine world. So they would attack me just to a certain degree. Secondly, I'm Jewish, which is a big advantage in Israel these days. So even the right-wing lawyers, the extremists, those who run for elections now, always say, finally, you'll come back to us. Maybe they'll put me in a re-education camp, but they will not kill me. Yeah.
It's an honor to have you here. Thank you so much.